Hey creeps, how's it going? My name is Cameron and welcome to Library Macabre. So a couple of weeks ago I posted my very first book hunting vlog. I just vlogged myself doing what I usually do, and that is book shopping. I went to a couple of bookstores and some thrift stores, some Goodwills, and that video was so well received that I immediately went ahead and did another book shopping vlog in which I found a ton more books. Just so many. I had so much luck that day. That book shopping vlog was the last video that I posted, and there was just too many books to show them in that video as I was shopping. So we're gonna do just a big old book haul, and I'm gonna show you all of the books that I bought in both of those videos. Again, I bought a lot, so get some snacks, get strapped in, and let's go. I'm gonna start off with all of the books that I bought in the very first book shopping video. It's not quite as many. There's like over 50 books that I bought in the next trip, but I found some very good quality stuff in this haul. The first store I decided to hit up was St. Francis Thrift Store, and I found some really good books. So first up we have The Witch's Eye. This is by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. I still have to get the sticker residue off the front of the book. Most of you probably know Phyllis Reynolds Naylor as the author of Shiloh, which was a book that I did not read when I was a kid. I saw the movie, but I was far more into a book like this, The Witch's Eye. I read this book in elementary school, and I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remember checking it out from the library and giving it a read. But I'm really excited to try this one out again, and there's some really good illustrations in this book. A lot of very creepy illustrations. I also found the very first book in the Babysitter's Club series. This one is called Christie's Great Idea by Ann M. Martin. I've been trying to collect all of the Babysitter's Club books. That's quite a task because damn, there are a lot of Babysitter's Club books. There's just like hundreds of them and it's crazy. But yeah, finally found a copy of the first book. It wasn't a first printing. I try to collect first printings of all of these books and I wasn't able to find one, but I did find just a nice copy of that. So I picked it up and I already gave it a read and I really enjoyed it. It's exactly what I love, you know, that old school 80s, 90s nostalgia. This one was actually published in 1986. We also have Sweet Valley Kids, book number 1. I told myself I was only going to buy the Sweet Valley horror books, and then I started buying all of the Sweet Valley High books in general, and then I started buying all of the Sweet Valley Twins and the Sweet Valley University, and now I'm buying Sweet Valley Kids as well. So it's a slowly spreading virus in my book collection now. Speaking of, we have Sweet Valley University. This is book number 4, Anything for Love. And my favorite book that I found at St. Francis Thrift Store was R.L. Stine's Fear Street Seniors. This series is incredibly rare. If you look this book up on eBay right now, it's probably going for $20 to $30. Found my copy for 79 cents. And I was so excited to find this, and it's in really nice condition. Can't wait to read these. I've actually not read any of the seniors books. I've read a lot of course, the original Fear Streets, but never these, and I hear they're really good. After I went to St. Francis, I hit up a toy store in Fairborn, Ohio, and I found a copy of Goosebumps Presents. This is book number 11, Let's Get Invisible. The Goosebumps Presents series was basically, they were like little novelizations of the TV episodes. So not only do we have the original novel, Let's Get Invisible, but we also have a novelization of the TV episode. And I've actually read a couple of these Goosebumps Presents books, and they're often very different from the TV episodes and the original books. So I don't know, I don't get these, but they're fun and they have pictures from each of the episodes, so I'm trying to collect all of them. Next, I went to Half Price Books and I found quite a few really nice books. So we have the Bobbsey Twins. This is book number 2 from the 80s series. It says it is a pre-Nancy Drew Hardy Boys mystery book. I did not know that there was a separate 80s series until I saw this, so I picked that one up right away. I love the Bobbsey Twins. They're very cozy. It actually looks a lot like the Boxcar Children, which you'll see later on in the video. I also found a copy of Where's Mommy Now? This was published by Pinnacle in 1990. And this cover art, I was looking at this and I'm like, you know what? That looks a lot like Tim Jacobus, who did the Goosebumps books, because he has this thing where he'll use like blues and purples in the shadows. So I started scanning the cover, and way down here in the corner of the book, behind the author's name, you can kind of make out Tim Jacobus's name. So very cool. There's some early Tim Jacobus cover art. I also found a copy of Christopher Pike's Remember Me. This is the first book in his trilogy. This is basically about a girl who was murdered and her ghost comes back and she's trying to figure out who killed her. I also found book number 10 in the Give Yourself Goosebumps series, which is basically a choose your own adventure style Goosebumps. This one is called Diary of a Mad Mummy. And I already owned a copy of this book, a copy that I've had since I was a kid. And I decided I need to pick this up because it is in beautiful condition. So nice, so much better than my other copy that I had, and it was only $2. And lastly, at Half Price Books, I found even more scary stories for sleepovers. This is basically a series of books that's pretty much a ripoff of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, except these stories aren't really grounded in folklore like those books are. These stories are just a bit more goosebumpsy. But I remember reading these back in elementary school and really loving them, so I'm trying to collect all of the books. So those were all of the books that I found in my first book shopping trip. Now we're going to get into all of the books that I found during my second trip, and I found just so much. The first store I went to was the Dollar Book Swap, which is located in Dayton, Ohio, and this is just a warehouse filled with books. And it's amazing. When you get to this store, you have to enter in through the back of the warehouse, and you're basically walking through a warehouse, and there's conveyor belts all around you, and there are people organizing through thousands and thousands of books. It's almost like you've stepped into some kind of working warehouse, and it doesn't really look like a store, but if you keep walking, you finally hit the actual bookstore, which it's also a warehouse with just huge shelves filled with books. And everything in this store is $1. $1 for every single book. It's pretty incredible.
You can stop at 5 or 6 stores or just one.
Every single time I go to this store, I end up walking out with like $50 worth of books, which of course is about 50 books. So I buy a lot, and that's no exception for this haul. I bought every bit of 50 books there. The first book that I have here is The Sister. This is by Elliston Trevor, who wrote The Sibling. This is actually the sequel to that book. I have a first printing paperback somewhere on my shelves, but I would much rather have hardcover. It's the exact same cover, so I'll probably end up getting rid of the paperback. They usually have a whole bunch of Goosebumps books, but of course I already own most of them, so whenever I look through there, I'm never really expecting to find anything. But I did find one this time around, and that is the Goosebumps Holiday Collector's Caps book. And I remember having a set of these back in the 90s, and it was like this set of these little cardboard caps that had the covers of the books on them, and then the set always came with a little book that goes over all of the different caps. It was kind of weird. The 90s had a whole bunch of weird toys and collectibles and stuff. This was one of those things. Similar, we have the Graveyard School series. This is the first book in that series. It is called Don't Eat the Mystery Meat, and this is basically a Goosebumps knockoff, but all of the books take place at one single school, and you have a lot of the same characters that kind of make appearances throughout the series. So this is the very first book. I did not own the first book. I've been trying to find it since I was a kid, honestly. So I was happy to finally find a nice copy of that. Really like that cover. It's just awesome. I also found a couple of the books in the Bailey School Kids series. They had a whole bunch of these, and basically I was just kind of looking for the hardcovers. These are the library editions. Most of the series is of course released in paperback, so whenever I can find library editions of them in hardcover, I always try to pick them up. So here we have number 42, Robots Don't Catch Chickenpox. And then we have the third book, which is called Santa Claus Doesn't Mop Floors. This is such a fun series. I really enjoy them. They're just cozy and breezy. And you know, like the Babysitter's Club, they just have that old school, simple charm to them, where you don't really have to think too much. You don't have to worry about your real life anxieties. You can just read a cozy little book and escape. Moving on, I have a first edition, first printing hardcover of The Art of Racing in the Rain. This is by Garth Stein. This is a book that I've heard about many times. Of course, it was turned into a movie. And I usually see quite a few copies of this book whenever I go to the Dollar Book Swap, and I always check to see if any of them are first editions. They usually aren't, and the ones that I have found that are first editions were in really bad shape, so I just passed on them. But I finally found a nice first edition hardcover of this book, and I'm so excited to read it because I love dogs. I love golden retrievers, and it just looks really fun. And the complete opposite of that, we have On Dangerous Ground, which is by Lamar Underwood. And this is an animal attack book about a vicious bear that is just going crazy on people. I love animal attack books. I love just watching Mother Nature come back with a vengeance and wreak havoc on human life. So that is awesome. This is a first edition hardcover, and I'm loving that cover. It is just so good. Next up, I found quite a few old school mystery books, including a lot of vintage children's mysteries. So we found Walt Disney's Annette. This is called Sierra Summer. This is basically Disney's version of Nancy Drew, from what I can gather. I've never actually read any of these books before, but they look really fun and cute. They have nice illustrations on the inside, and I just love the cover. I love how the pink really just pops out at you, and it reminds me of one of those old-fashioned diners. I also found book number 1 in the Trixie Belden series. This is called Secret of the Mansion, and I've always wanted to collect these editions of the books. These are called the Cameo editions. They're pretty hard to find for the most part. It's not in great shape. It's got lots of wear all over the cover. The end papers have started to separate, so I have to be a little bit careful with it, but eventually I'll find another copy that's in better shape. I mentioned I had some Boxcar Children to show you, and I got 4 different Boxcar Children books here. These are just so freaking cozy. They're just so much fun to read. Whenever I am stressed or depressed or anxious or anything like that, I always pick up a Boxcar Children book because it always does the trick. And I found that these books are starting to get pretty rare, which is weird because they used to be everywhere. So we have book number 24. This one is called Mystery of the Hidden Painting. Book number 26, Mystery of the Mixed Up Zoo. Number 68, The Basketball Mystery. And number 69, The Movie Star Mystery. And this actually has one of those Scholastic Book Club ads in the middle of the book, which I remember seeing those in the Scholastic book orders all the time. I also found some Nancy Drew books, and I am always on the lookout for more Nancy Drew. So here we have Nancy Drew number 115, The Suspect in Smoke. And then I also found 4 of the books from the Nancy Drew Notebooks series. This was a series, of course, for much younger kids, and I've always told myself I wasn't gonna collect these. Always end up saying that, and I never stick to my word. So here we go. Here's number 9 in the Notebooks series. This one is called The Thanksgiving Surprise. I just love these covers so much. Number 16, this one is called The Ski Slope Mystery. Number 17, Whose Pet is Best? And number 18, The Stolen Unicorn. And fun fact, Nancy Drew just celebrated her 91st anniversary just the other day, so I thought that was pretty cool. 91 years. And of course, there is nothing that pairs better with Nancy Drew than the Hardy Boys, and I found quite a few awesome Hardy Boys books. So first up, we have number 29 in the series. This is called Secret of the Lost Tunnel, and this is one of those old library editions. And I remember my school library having a whole bunch of these. It's not in very good shape, but it does have the original little library card pocket in the back, which is just awesome. I used to find these editions really ugly, and they're incredibly ugly, but they've actually become very collectible. And even though I'm not really collecting these editions myself, I do keep them around in case there's somebody out there who wants to do a trade. Trades are always a lot of fun, so I'm adding this to my trade box. I also found several other Hardy Boys paperback digest books. So here we have number 92, The Shadow Killers. I actually already own a copy of this book, but this one is in much better condition. Number 93, this one is called The Serpent's Tooth Mystery. Breakdown and Axe Blade, that is book number 94. Book number 117, The Baseball Card Conspiracy. Here we have one with a crazy cover. This one is called The Robot's Revenge, and this is pretty cool. In this book, I found a bookmark right here, and that is for Little Professor Book Center. Now, when I was a kid, My dad used to take me to this bookstore, and it was called Little Professor Bookstore, and this place was amazing. This is where I got my very first Harry Potter book. I got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone at this bookstore, and tons of other books. I remember getting some X-Files books there. It was this magical place, and for the longest time, I thought maybe I invented this place in my head, like maybe I dreamt about it, because I've tried to Google this place before, and I never found any information about it. Well, turns out it actually existed. There it is. I thought maybe I was confusing it with like Borders Books or something, but nope, it existed. I didn't make it up. So that was a really cool treat. And lastly, for the Hardy Boys, we have book number 110 in the Hardy Boys Case Files series. This one's called Bad Chemistry. These TV show covers are actually pretty rare from what I've found, so it's cool that I was able to find that. I also found a book in the Sammy Keys series. This one is called Sammy Keys and the Wild Things. I actually have quite a few of the books from this series. It's a middle grade series where Sammy Keys is the detective. So I found a first edition hardcover of that for only $1. Can't believe it. And then this beautiful book, $1. This is a book in the collection of mystery classics, and this one is an Ellery Queen book. This one is called The Greek Coffin Mystery. As soon as I saw this, I had to pick it up. It's like it's a faux leather. It's kind of puffy. The cover has like this puffy kind of like pillowy material, which is just like the Agatha Christie mystery collection. And these are actually published by Bantam, who also did those. These have really nice end papers. And yeah, they're just really nice, really well-bound books. So I was happy to find that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Daughters Unto Devils by Amy Lukovics. This is a young adult horror novel that I read, actually listened to on audiobook a couple of years ago when it first came out. Loved it. So dark and creepy and just really eerie. So I was happy to find a hardcover of that. I really want to reread this eventually. I also found The Little French Bistro, which is by Nina George, who wrote The Little Paris Bookshop. I actually found a first edition hardcover of that the last time I was at the Dollar Book Swap. So I was happy to find a first edition hardcover of this one to match my other one. I also found another R.L. Stine book. This one is from the Twist the Plot series. It's called The Time Raider. And I actually have the first edition of this from the 80s, and I love the cover of that one even more so than this one. This one is just a reprint, and I like this cover too. It's super zany and 90s, so I had to pick that up. And the last books that I found at the Dollar Book Swap were a whole bunch of Babysitters Club books, as well as a Sweet Valley High senior year. This one is book 26. I do not like these covers anywhere near as much as I like the other ones, but still, it's Sweet Valley, so they're bound to be a lot of fun. Anyway, moving on. Lots of Babysitters Club books to go through. I found so many. So first off, we have book number 34. This one is called Mary Ann and Too Many Boys. And this is actually one of those oversized library editions, except this does not have any library markings on it at all. It's completely free of library stickers. I'm guessing maybe a teacher had bought this for her classroom. Very, very nice hardcover. These are so rare and expensive online. I also found special edition number 2. This one is called Babysitter's Summer Vacation. This is the one where they go to camp. Babysitters Club Mystery number 1. Stacy and the Missing Ring. Mystery number 2, Beware Dawn. And these are all first editions, by the way, and they look pretty much brand new. I found a first edition, first printing of the very first Babysitters Club book. This one is called Christie's Great Idea. But the thing is, it's not really a first edition. I thought it was because it has the complete number line on the inside, but the book itself actually lists to book number 9. Odds are this isn't actually a first edition. This one might actually be like a first printing from a box set or something, or a book club edition, but it's not exactly a first edition like I thought it was. So that was a little disappointing. We also have book number 4, Mary Ann Saves the Day. Again, I thought this was a first printing, but it lists to book number 29. So obviously it's not. Next we have book number 35. This one is called Stacy and the Mystery of Stony Brook. That looks amazing. I love that cover art. So cool. Number 36, Jesse's Babysitter. And number 53, Stacy for President. After the Dollar Book Swap, I made a trip over to Ollie's Bargain Outlet, and I found a couple of books there. First up, we have The Merciless 3 by Daniel Vega. And this is basically about this Catholic girls' school. And there's this new girl in school, and all of the other girls think she's like possessed by a demon, possibly. So they're like, ooh, let's do an exorcism on her. So they proceed to basically strap her to a chair and torture her pretty much. So it's a very, very dark young adult horror series. I've not actually read any of them yet, but I do have the first 2 books, and I'm glad to have the 3rd book in the series. Also at Ollie's for only $4.99, I found the Hardy Boys Adventures. This binds up the first 2 books in the series. So we have The Secret of the Red Arrow and Mystery of the Phantom Heist. And this, of course, is the newer Hardy Boys series. This isn't the original series. And I really like this edition. It's like a floppy faux leather. Very, very nice. And lastly, I went to the Antique Village in Dayton, Ohio, and I found a first edition hardcover of Meg by Steve Alton. This is one of my favorite books. It's just so much fun. I really enjoy the movie as well. But yeah, giant dinosaur shark. It's perfect. I also found a childhood favorite of mine, and that is Short and Shivery, 30 Chilling Tales. This is by Robert D. Sansucci. Could not believe that for only $3, I got a signed copy of this book, dated 1996. And the last 2 books I have to show you are also from the Antique Village. I have another Annette book. This one's called Annette and the Mystery of Smuggler's Cove. Love that cover art. So nice. Really makes me even more excited for summertime. And lastly, we have Robin Kane and the Mystery of Glengarry Castle. This was another Nancy Drew style book. And those, friends, are all of the books that I got during my book hunting adventures. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you thought about all of these books, if you've read any of them. I'm so excited about all of these. I found some really great gems, and I can't wait to do my next book hunting video because I have quite a few other places in mind. Places I haven't been to in a while, places that I'm really excited to take you to. Vlogging and taking you guys along with me to these stores just makes the experience a little more fun. So I'm really happy to do them, and I'm glad that you guys are liking them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later, creeps.